This episode of Muddy River Gems is brought to you by Dot Foods.
I think what it comes down to is the culture and the people.
Our culture here at Dot is like no other. I've never experienced anything like what I've lived with for the last 12 years.
Dot is very diverse.
It is truly a family-owned business, but it is a family inside and out.
You always feel like you matter and you play a big hand in the pot.
There's so many opportunities to make a difference at Dot and really contribute to the success of the organization.
There was a time in American rural history when the barn was just as important to the family as the home. Well, on this edition of Muddy River Gems, brought to you by Dot Foods, join us as we visit with a man whose passion for the barns is still alive. Dave Shank, we're in your garage, or what would have been your garage if it wasn't housing all these barns that you have built. But I tell you what, you've made an enormous contribution to history and art, because you've preserved in model form many of the oldest barns around, and they're quite an exhibit.
Well, they are. To me, they are. Mm-hmm. It's just something that I love to do.
Oh my goodness! And okay, now here's a barn that many people in Adams County and outside probably would be very familiar with. This is the Lewis barn that's at the Adams County Fairgrounds, right?
That's right.
And what you've done is you've given people an actual that can't get there or can't get inside the barn a chance to look at it, and this is what it would actually look like if you could.
Yes. It was when I first built it, it was at the Adams County Fair. I had it there for a while, at 1 year. It's been, like I said, Gardner Museum, the Quincy Museum, and locally, I mean. And then it got on that barn exhibit. And then when it went to Washington, D.C. for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't go. At the time, I didn't have any money.
Well, you couldn't go see it, huh?
You couldn't
but
go
it was
see
on
it.
exhibit in Washington, D.C.
It was the National Building Museum. I got pictures of it where it was at in there.
Okay.
They sent me, and I got the book, and we even made the front cover of that book, but you got to look to see it.
Yeah.
But it's in the back of the book, too.
Yeah. Okay, so it was traveling, right?
Yeah.
And and then it sort of unfortunate story because
Mayflower truck.
It went up to what, Michigan State University as an exhibit piece, and how did they treat it?
Well, it was fine, I guess, when it was there, but when they brought it back, they had it in a trailer with a canvas, and it came loose and beat it up pretty bad.
And just beat it up.
Yep.
So it was in what? It was in
pieces? It was in mint condition when they got it.
And it was in pieces?
It was in pieces.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, huh? Thanks a lot.
I know, I was about sick.
So you put it back together, and this is what we're looking at here. You actually put it back together.
It's the same thing, and this thing's 31 years old.
The model is 31
Yes.
years old. Wow.
That's amazing to even keep something like that 31 years, let alone in pieces. That's what it was. And the cupola was even broke.
Oh, goodness.
And the silo, it was broke.
I like the way you've kept it open, though. I mean, you could have enclosed it just like the real thing, but then you couldn't get a look at the inside. Now you can see really how
and when people,
what an intricate
when people
setup
come around talking, they're all standing here talking and looking into it.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it otherwise.
Right.
But, God, the pieces, you gotta cut, all this got to be measured and cut.
We're going to look at a lot of your pieces. Many of them are hanging on the walls here. But here's another one that gets my attention because it's so big and it's open and you can look into it again. And tell me about this barn.
Well, this was the Hare barn, Merle Hare, and his dad was a stonemason, and he cut all that stone over here. They said they'd go down and quarry that out of the hill down there, and they'd take a team of horses, and they had an axle. They'd raise it up, tie the big beams to it, pull it down, and take it up. And when they built that barn,
wow! Well, that thing was going to stand forever.
Oh my God!
Where was this now? Where was it?
It's over by Adams.
In Adams County here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the barn still there?
Oh yes.
It's not going anywhere with that masonry work, is it?
And this is not. Some of them are 2 foot wide and 4 foot long.
You cut all these out of wood.
Yeah, that's all basswood.
They look really good.
Yeah,
It looks
and
like
underneath,
stone.
well, I should have a light in there, but there's horse stalls in there, and the stairway comes up here, and then over here, the granary, and them granary, I took them. That's all walnut lumber in the real barn.
Wow.
I mean, it's just amazing. And his dad built some barns around that area.
Now, before we go on to the wall pieces, you have some interesting stories about how you were motivated to build some of the barns that you built. And one of the motivations for you was the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
And the fact that you actually, did you as a child live in one of those?
Yeah, I lived
there. Can you show
there.
us that one?
Yes, I lived there and didn't know it.
And you didn't know it?
No, it was about 4 years ago. It was 4
Here,
years
I brought
ago.
this book that you were looking at.
Yeah, that's what I needed. 4 years ago, my sister gave me this book, and she said our mom's picture was, our article was in there, and it shows our house. It shows our house. That's where I grew up, right there. And this kitchen was on the old house where Joshua Reed lived, and he's the one that got arrested for harboring slaves.
Okay.
He's buried in Adams Cemetery up there. But then Dr. David Nelson, he was the big in Quincy about the slaves. He even got arrested. They tried to kill him even. It's all in this book. And I know he was in our kitchen, but they couldn't find the red barn. It says in here. Well, my mom said it's right down there because my dad in 1954 tore the top of it off and built.
Now, this is where you lived as a kid?
Yeah, this is where I grew up. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the barn.
Yep.
So you said, well, I think I want to build that.
Yeah.
And so tell us what this is. Of course, looks very much like the picture that we just saw.
Yeah.
And so you built this just to commemorate it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Because who's got an Underground Railroad barn? You can paint pictures. But that's.
Or you could build it.
It's heavy. Oh, it's easy for me to build.
You've got another side of it
that
here.
lumber actually came off the barn. That was red when the slaves were there. I'm sure it was.
And that's actual wood from the barn.
Yeah, that's actual wood from the barn.
What about upper left up there?
Yeah, that was probably wood from the barn too. That was the east side. And this was the east side. 'Cause that's what it looks like today. You can go in there and see the doors and the windows.
It is still there.
Oh yeah.
And it's still on the property where you grew up.
Yes.
I'll be darned.
That's where the underground.
Okay, join me over here. Because you know what you like to do is you like to find a story or a picture, and then you like to build that barn.
I just built it.
Tell me about this barn.
Well, that's in Elmwood, Illinois, and it tells in there about the freedom seekers when they got there. If the cross was lit, they knew it was safe. So then I guess that's where they met then.
Well, you certainly can see the similarity between that picture and that.
I try to build them as close as you can.
Yeah, and again, boy, they used as much river rock and as much stuff as they could to prop that baby up.
It's amazing how they built those.
Uh-huh.
I'm amazed at how they did build those. And I know I got pictures of when I made that. You see, the battens, I showed you them little battens. See, those are all little battens.
Oh, we'll see those later in the program. Yeah, we'll see those later in the program. And what about this? Is this connected to that in any way?
Yes.
Or is that a different barn?
No, that's a different barn. That's the one that was in Fowler, and there's a huge barn in Fowler. She's got a picture of it in here. All I had was a picture. There it is, and the front of it. I just made the front of it, but you couldn't go up too much higher unless you'd brought it way out.
Well, that is big. Okay.
That's a big barn.
Now, before we leave this one, is this also part of that same barn?
No.
This is a different one too.
This is just a barn I wanted to build. I
had
just
liked it and wanted to build it.
In a catalog, and I should have. If I'd have done over, I'd have brought the stone out a little bit because this is the side of the barn, not the end.
Is this all? This is real rock here that you glued on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Well, Dave, as you walk through your barn collection here, you notice there's a lot of printed materials, a lot of photographs, a lot of calendars. You get stuff from all over the country, and you just get motivated to build one just by looking at a picture.
That's right.
Is that the way it works?
That's right. Yeah, because they don't see anybody. You're here.
And so you have your favorites, though, don't you? I mean, you have your favorites. I mean, like you were just showing me you love these Montana barns.
Oh,
and
I do.
You're getting worked up about building one of these.
I've read
aren't you?
every page in there, and you can't believe what people did and had.
Yep.
And the tragedy and that, some winter they lost thousands of head of cattle. They starved and froze to death. And that happened, you know. It was tough. It was tough.
And the barn was probably as or more important than their home.
It was. That's what I was going to say. Most of them barns in all these places were built before the houses. Sometimes the house was there. If they had to have a barn, they couldn't feed their livestock. And people don't realize the barns, you got a beautiful barn. They don't realize how much work is inside that barn. There's 2 barns here in Quincy, and they're big barns, and they milked in the basement, and they got big, wide, thick steps, and they got them steps wore half in 2 from going up and down.
From all the up and down, day after day.
I mean, you just...
How many times a day, right? The
whole
whole family up
morning
and
and
down.
night.
Yep.
I mean, you just don't believe how much work. And they did trash grain in there years ago. I mean, way back when.
Yeah.
But probably not that long ago. But today it's a different ballgame.
Yeah. On the lighter side,
Yes.
some of what you really liked was, I mean, you were kind of followed this guy's career a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And this fella painted thousands of barns. He
painted
did it for
20,000.
mail pouch tobacco, right?
One book says 20,000, one book says 22,000.
And the guy on the upper left page here,
that's him.
he's the guy, he's the painter, right?
Harley Warick, yep.
Okay, and he would go to 6 or 7 states.
Yep.
And do 2 a day or something?
He was doing 2 a
ridiculous
day
like that
by himself for
I
a while.
love that.
He had a crew too.
I love the story, but hear what you did. You were so inspired by him that you came over here and you did a couple of his barns,
well,
right?
sure, sure.
There's
I
a
like
busy
the black one.
Why do you like the
I
black
just
one?
like it. It stands out a little more.
Yeah.
But
So he would make a living by going around and just pay.
They paid him to
Mail
do
Pouch
that.
would pay him to advertise on a farmer's barn, and they would pay the farmer too.
Yep. Well, usually they give him
to use their
tobacco,
barn.
and they'd come back every 5 or 6 years and replenish it.
Yeah.
Make them brighter again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a wonder his back. I don't think he was that old when he died either. I can understand.
Well, probably
why.
not 2 barns a
You
day.
gonna climb up on them barns?
Let's go this way. Look at some of your work. Okay, now I'm looking at this one up here, and we can get a look at it here as well. And I think these are Michigan barns,
Yep,
aren't they?
these are Michigan barns.
Yeah. What did you like about it, or what did
It just
was
so
fancy?
different. The article in the book says about how it's such a different kind of a barn, and it is. It's just I had fun making the thing.
Now you use almost all wood, right?
Oh, it's all wood,
All
yeah.
wood, except sometimes a little gravel.
Oh yeah,
You know, or a little
Yeah,
stone,
rock,
right?
Yep.
But mostly all wood. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think were we going to look at this one for some reason? I think
Yeah.
that this is that's an unusual looking barn. to me.
Yeah, I got a picture of it here. I can show you, and that's made out of apatong wood.
What kind?
Apatong. That's
Apatong.
what they use in truck beds.
Well, okay. Is that real hard or something?
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It would last outside. I made some benches out of that wood.
Does apatong wood grow around central
No,
Illinois?
no.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
all
I've never heard of it
come
before.
from.
Well, I'm looking at Gothic Barns in Brown County, Illinois. There's a book about everything, isn't there?
There is.
Okay. And these Gothic barns, you can tell they're Gothic because they have a rounded
Because they
roof,
arch,
right?
yep.
The arch, okay. And we're looking at that white one there. That's the Cole Glazier barn. That's in Mount Sterling.
It's like the coal place. Yes.
Yeah, and that's got a metal roof too, doesn't it?
Yeah. I put a metal roof on that one. It might have been in another book. I found one too, and I find one that I like and just make it. But that's where it originally came from. I found them, and Wayne Price came, and he went and wrote the book about it.
He's the one that wrote the book and
Yeah.
took the pictures, right?
Gave me a copy of it.
Isn't it funny how some guys they just become barn experts? You mentioned Bob Sherman, from
I
the
know it.
Springfield area. This Price guy, I mean, that's what they do.
That's what they did.
Yeah, they go around. Says that's a good barn.
Yeah. And they go from barn to barn to barn.
Now this one, we're going back to Michigan now. This is one that you liked for your Michigan
Yep.
barn book. Now what's unique about that one?
It's just a log barn. It was made of logs.
But when you make it, you use different kind of material, didn't you?
Well, I used it looks like log. Nobody
does.
knows the
It sure
difference
does.
if you
What
didn't
is it?
tell 'em. Yep.
What is it? What's the material?
It's sunflower stalks
Really?
that were dried. I had a whole lot of them, and I cut them. I thought, well, what would I use for logs? You could use dowels, but still it wouldn't be right. But these look just like logs.
They sure do. And then you chinked them, huh? You chinked
Yep,
them with
I
some...
put the chink in between them. I was worried about doing that, but it went out all right.
Yeah, and that one's got shingles. That barn's
yeah,
got
it had
shingles.
shingles
They
on
don't
it.
all have shingles, do they?
Yeah, the one in the book had shingles.
Mm-hmm. And you keep shingles in your shop, don't you?
Oh yeah, I've thousands of shingles. Like on them. Well, that one there had I don't know how many thousand shingles I have.
Well, if you look at this round one here,
yeah,
you know.
That was a tough one to build because you get the bending on that.
Yeah, how do you bend that? Do you get it they get them wet and then just
no,
bend?
No, I don't get them wet.
No.
But, well, this one here, I should tell you, at the top I couldn't bend them. So you know what I used? I used cardboard.
Are you talking about the one that the here? Let's walk over there.
This right here.
Oh, okay, behind the TV set.
At the very top, I used cardboard and glued it on there, and then glued them to that because you never know the difference.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Because you can't bend stuff that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could if you wetted it, and you know, then you got to have it all pretty close to being the same.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to go into your shop.
Okay.
And I know you're not actively building anything right now, but now that we've seen the finished product, you can show us some of the materials you use.
Sure.
And how you cut the stuff up and
Sure.
all that stuff.
Sure.
All right. We'll be back with more Muddy River Gems brought to you by Dot Foods after this.
From our trucks to their lunch trays, to your local hospital, to your favorite pub, and to your kitchen table. For more than 60 years, Dot Foods and Dot Transportation have been stocking the shelves of your hometown. Sure, we've grown a lot, but at our core, we're still small-town, family-run businesses that care about our communities and the people who keep us running. Join the Dot family today and be part of something bigger.
Why work at Dot?
You could list out individual qualities forever.
There's a lot of opportunities. They take care of the employees, they take care of the community.
So our pay, our benefits, it's competitive. Time off, tons of flexibility.
They're willing to work with you to help you advance.
Okay, Dave, this is where the magic happens.
This is where it happens.
Shop. This is a crowded shop. You use this a lot, don't you?
A lot, every day.
Every day.
Every day.
You're always working on a barn, and among other things, but you're always working on a barn.
Oh, I've worked on barns. You know, I made all those barns probably in the last 4 years.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. What happened to all the barns you made in the years before?
I didn't make any.
Oh, you were just starting?
I
really?
just started
with
making
the
them.
barns?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Because I retired, and I had 4 surgeries after I got retired, so I was laid up for a while. Then I started doing that, and then I could do that every day. I just started building barns.
So that sort of kept you happy, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It gave me a purpose to live. Because
you know, you had, and speaking about your past just a little bit here, you had a career, of course, but you were a farmer too.
Yes.
And you were a farmer at a pretty rough time in the industry. What happened?
It was interest rates 23%. We had a drought. They didn't have anything.
What year are we talking about?
1979, 80.
79, 80.
Yeah.
It drove you out of the farming business.
Oh
didn't
yeah. Yep. You just couldn't survive.
it? Yeah.
And you didn't want to. You wanted to, but you just couldn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, I mean, of course, that's a long time ago. You didn't start building barns then.
No, well, I had to. No, I didn't build barns then. I built them. I started building them in 92, 91.
Oh,
I guess.
92.
91, I built the Lewis barn, or the Hare barn in 91. In 92, I started the Lewis barn. In 93, I think I finished it. In 94, I finished it.
The Lewis barn was the big round barn that we saw that got returned to you in pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you have been building them more than 4 years. You've been building them for a long time.
Well, I built those way back when.
Yeah.
But then I hadn't built anything in between.
Yeah.
Because I was working full time and just didn't do it.
You were doing woodwork though, and I can tell. You know, I asked you to get out some samples of some of the stuff that you use. See those pine boards there? Those are commonly used, and then you've got Seems like you got a piece of wood for everything in this place.
There's lots of wood.
Yeah. What's the saw that you use the most to build
this
the barns?
table saw? Probably my table saw.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it's still, and I have it. It's all square and true, like those big pieces over there. I got some of them. That's all they sawed them with was burning the wood. But this one, we sawed some pieces through here, and it just cuts them smooth as can be.
Speaking of, while we're over there, look at that hunk of walnut. Are you going to do something with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna. My good friend that paints my skies. Let me turn it over. It's a lot better looking on this side.
It's heavy, isn't it?
See?
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
That's a pretty piece of walnut.
Well, that sure is. What are you going to do with it? You figured
I'm
it out
make
yet?
2 big circles, and I don't know what I'll do with this. This is really pretty stuff.
It is.
You get this cleaned, and it's really pretty.
Okay, let's look at this barn that you got out for us. This was one that we brought over from your garage where you have the other 32 barns on the wall. What about this one? What's different about this one? Or what do you like?
Well, this is plywood turned on its side, and it looks pretty neat. Pretty neat. It almost looks like barn siding. But then this one didn't have the battens on, like a lot of them do. You cut these little strips and you glue them in here if you want to. You know, if there was a board there, you cover the cracks of the board.
Oh, I see. So the original barn builder would usually choose to cover the cracks with these.
Yeah, he'd use
big
these.
pieces.
This is actually a.
This
this
wood
is
here?
actually this is actually a on the barns.
This kind of wood is.
Yeah, the
Okay.
same. See how it's shaped. That's exactly what was on them barns.
Okay, so this
They're barn
came off of
battens.
a barn, and this would have been a batten, and in a model set,
Yeah.
that's what this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And when you do the windows,
Well, I just make the windows. I got a little thing, and I cut them, and it's pain. It's a pain to make them, but you can make them.
I see a cat.
You can buy windows, but hell,
There's a cat in
I
one of
make
those
everything.
windows.
And most barns have got siding like this. You can put that together. I know it's not all the way up, but and then you put the batten. See, when you make it,
Oh, I
you put
see.
it, you put
Okay.
it in there like that. But it's just a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
And to cut these little,
Is everything glued?
everything's glued.
Okay.
Yep.
You never nail anything.
No,
Okay.
very, very, very few.
Did you
nails.
ever, even in your big round barns, did you ever use nails, or was that all glued?
It's all glued.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we talked about shingles before too. Do you have shingles here?
Oh, I
Can
sure
you
do.
give us a
I'll get
sample
you
of
some.
of
I got a
those?
box. I got a lot of them.
I'll bet you do. I'll bet you do. You probably got all different colors too, don't you?
Yeah, I got different.
Yeah, those are nice. Do you make your own shingles?
Oh no! Oh no!
That would
I know
be
some people think I should, but I'm
would
not
be
making shingles.
tedious, wouldn't it?
These you use a lot. You cut that, and when you put like them boards, see the rafters run like that. You can take and stick and hold that, glue it, and then this will hold them on there.
Oh, sure.
Or
Okay.
the shingles, you can screw that down on the roof and hold the shingles down instead of how else do you fasten stuff? You can't.
That's a good idea.
It works really
idea.
good.
Yeah.
And these are shingles that's got the arch in them, but I'll never use them really. I just bought them.
Why won't you use them?
Well, I might.
If you find one that you...
If I find one I like
okay.
on it.
All right.
And these, see, these come 1,000 of these. And that's what I use. Somebody said, you make them. I said, I'm not making them.
Boy,
things.
that would be...
Oh, heck.
You know what, though? I'm kind of surprised. There's a hobby shop where they actually sell this
Yeah,
stuff. There's enough
yeah,
people
it's Houseworks.
Yeah, there's enough market for this that...
Yeah, it's amazing. They still sell them. They still sell them.
Here's a sample of some of the wood we were talking about.
Now that's cherry.
This is cherry, okay. And you'll use all these different kinds of woods, won't you?
Oh, I do.
Does it depend on what the real barn looked like? or do you
Sometimes,
just
sometimes
decide?
I just use because you can just stain them instead of like walnut. Just put a stain on it, and it's pretty. It's dark. See, there's
walnut
a
is
rough.
beautiful,
See, it's
yeah.
rough side. Then
And we mentioned a kind of an exotic wood. I thought it was exotic anyway because I'd never heard
Apatone.
of it. Apatone. Is
yeah,
that,
this is. Well, that's apatone there.
you mean those
cut.
little pieces
Yeah,
over
those
there?
are all apatone.
And this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here this is too.
And it's very hard, and
It's,
you say
it's very hard.
It weathers
See,
well.
some of
huh?
it's kind of reddish colored.
Yeah.
But, oh, it'll weather good. This is tough stuff. Make benches out of that. You can set it outside and last a long, long time.
Okay, and I asked about your various saws. You use the table saw here, but you've got a big heavy-duty guy over here.
Yeah,
What's this one called? What's this?
It's just a bandsaw, big bandsaw.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big one. You can cut a lot of stuff with that. It's almost scary, that big blade. You can cut a big piece.
When you cut that heavy piece of walnut, you might use that, huh?
Yeah, I might cut the circles with it, But see, you can just take this and crank it up, and you can cut a big piece. It'll cut right through there.
Yeah.
That's red alum.
And there's another trick that you've got here, and use your table saw to, you can use this to cut your angles. So is this your 45?
Yep, you put a piece on there, and you can hold it there and cut. You can cut that 45 and flip it over on the other side and cut it.
Don't have to adjust your saw that way.
Nope. Cool. You don't have to adjust nothing.
That's neat.
That's the good part about it. And then this here, you use this for that other stuff. You can put this on here, and you can lay a big piece on there. That'll cut it off straight. It's table saws. To me, is the only. I mean, there's other saws. There's a lot of other saws. Radial arm saw. I got a chop saw back there, but oh hell, this works so much slicker. It's just the way it is.
Well, listen, we're probably going to leave you to your work in here. you got enough to do. Are you inspired to build a barn now?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna.
You got your calendar, your latest calendar.
That's when what's his name came, Vincent Laval, and you get inspired again, and you want to do it because otherwise you don't never talk to anybody. You just kind of, what am I doing? But and just like you coming, hell, I want to build me another barn, but you'll probably never see it, maybe. But I don't know what my boys will ever do with them.
Well, you know what? They'll have plenty of wall space, and they'll hang them on their walls, and they'll think of you every time they do.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. Listen, thanks for inviting us in. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, well, it's been fun for me, too.
Yeah. I am not aware of anybody else who is helping keep history alive quite like this. What will Dave's 33rd barn be like? He'll know it when he sees it. With another Muddy River Gem brought to you by Dot Foods in Adams County, I'm Mark McDonald. Thanks for watching.
This episode of Muddy River Gems was brought to you by Dot Foods.